Hey guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to my stream, and welcome to another chapter working on this guy here. That's our Su-35S Flanker E by Great Wall Hobbies. So, we could run the intro clip please, and we'll get started. Alright guys, we are back. We are back again. Okay? And we're going to continue on this guy. As you can see here, I still don't have my engines assembled. I actually realized a mistake I'd made. I was trying to figure out how exactly these things go together and how it's all supposed to look when the instructions are clearly they're clearly unclear. Something I had discovered. You guys saw me put these 4 pieces together last time. Well, I guess 8 pieces technically. Okay, you guys saw me put these together. This part here, these 4 pieces go together, right? You guys saw me do that last time. But I was curious. I wanted to look at. There's a guy, Matt McDougall. His channel is Doug's Models. I'll put a link down in the description, actually, or maybe up here in the top, to his channel. He's really good at assembling kits and stuff like that. He's got a video series on this exact kit. He compares it to the Kitty Hawk version of the Su-35, and he builds both at the same time and shows you all the different variances of the 2 kits and who got it better for this section and who got it worse and that kind of stuff. Anyway. Getting to the engines parts, he shows us how to assemble the engines, and one thing that he does show that they don't show in the instructions, you can actually take these fins and you can glue them onto this piece first. I would like my lights to stop flickering. To glue it onto this piece first, this is F1, okay? This one actually has, you can see where I've sanded them down, 4 little lines, 4 little ridges that will actually act as a guide to put these on. So you could just glue them one at a time as you go around, glue them onto this piece, and that will be a lot easier than the way I did it. Alright? So that's the first thing. The next thing I realized was the only part of the inside of the engines that's supposed to be white are the insides of the fins, right? The rest of it's supposed to be black, and you guys saw me paint the insides of them white last time. So I went ahead and sprayed them black on the insides of these and on one of these. Okay, I have not done this one yet, and there's a reason, is I want to show you guys my new little tool. Thank you, airplanes, for taking off so early in the morning. You guys saw when I took this off the sprue, there's a big sprue on the inside that kind of gives it some rigidity, big plus sign, and there's huge nubs on the inside. Let me change the camera and I'll show you here, okay? Okay, if we look at this, you can see on the inside here, great big nub right there and there and there. Okay, and of course a 4th one right there. It's a little bit harder to see now that I've kind of painted a little bit black in there. But those are a bit of a challenge to clean up because of, well, how do you get in there really with a knife kind of thing. I have a cool little tool. This guy here. Just a sec, as I get my garbage out of the way. This guy here. The Display ES-A. I wrote it on the box because it's actually really hard to see anywhere written on the package. It's a reciprocating sander, and this little tool is something I've seen lots of guys do to get rid of nub marks, ejector pin marks, stuff like this. You know, you got your ejector pins marks like here and here and here. They fill them in and then they sand them down, and they use this especially in tight spots, like say on the inside of intakes or on let's see, landing gear bays, things like that. So I bought this kit, and it comes with all these different sanding pieces: 180 grit, 280, 400, 600, 8,000, all the way, I think it's up to 1,000. Yeah, 400, 800, 600, yeah, all the way up to 1,000. And you get all the different sizes, all the different shapes for all the different bits that come in the kit. Okay, and we have this guy here, a nice big lid on it. Okay, 4 different settings like that. Go a little faster, faster, and then off. Great little thing. And so I used it for the first time on the inside of this one, and it got rid of those nubs really easy. So I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to use it on this one. I've already put my little strip of sandpaper on this big curved one. Each one of these is a little bit different shapes. We've got just flat rectangle like this, and then we've got like this one's got a pointed edge on it, like that. All kinds of different stuff. We got one this one has a 90-degree fold in it, so you can get in a nice corner with that one, right, and so forth. So I chose the big kind of rounded edge like this, and so then this just goes on here. We get this the right way around, like that, and then just like that. So I'm just going to go in here like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my knife. I'm going to try and get in there a little bit better and clean this up at least a little bit with my knife. Okay, so get in here at least a little bit better. Be very careful, because my finger's right there. I don't want to jab my finger with the knife. Like I said, because this is curved, it's hard to get in there without creating a big gouge with the knife. Which is why I decided to try out my little reciprocating sander. I'm tempted to use a lot of pressure to cut through this thing, but with my thumb being right there, you know, yeah, that's just going to spell disaster later. So I'll stab myself with the knife, and I don't want that. So that's about as good as I can get, and that's the same thing I had on the other one. But I'll just put it on the first setting, because I don't want to be too aggressive. And it is going in one direction, so I'll just kind of move it around. And get in there and just kind of flatten it down, smoothing it out. Now there is detail on there, as you can tell. It's as you can tell in here, there are actual raised parts in here, which makes it even more difficult. I didn't get in there all that good on this one. At least I didn't think so. But with it painted black, it's really hard to see my mistakes. So I think it's good enough, right? So I will continue on this one. I actually am thinking maybe I will try the other. There's another bit in here that's curved. It's just smaller. This one. We'll try this one. The sandpaper I chose was the 280 grit. This one here, you can see where I took it off. This is just sticky, right? It's adhesive. So we just peel it off of here, like that. line it up on here. This piece is actually too big, but that's okay. Actually, I got it the wrong way maybe. Like this, wrap it around. I've got the wrong piece for this, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so there we go. We've got that stuck on there. Let's trade bits. Just like that. And this should let me get in between them now. In between those two pieces. Sand that nub down. Yeah, it's looking better. Oh yeah. I can see why guys use these things. This is a really good tool. I'm not even really pushing hard down on this. And yeah, this takes a little time, but this is one of those things, if you don't have one of these, it's going to be a challenge to really get in there and get rid of that. That really makes short work of these nubs. Of course, these nubs are a little big. Would I like to have gotten in there a little better with a knife? Yes. Or even the nippers to get a little closer. I just found it a little too hard to get in there, which of course gives us the opportunity to use a tool like this. I bought this thing and it's been sitting for about a month, and I haven't had an opportunity to use it until now. So this actually is, you know, a perfect opportunity for it. The nub is almost down. There we go. And one more to go. Sorry if you can't see this, I'll change my angle here. This is obviously the safer way to do it. My fingers are not in danger of getting cut open by a sander. And that's about it. I think I'm just about done here. Yep. That is pretty much done. Done. Okay. So there's our nubs cleaned up, except for a little gouge I got in there for the knife. But even that's not bad. Okay, so this is now ready to be painted black on the inside, just like my other one. I'm not going to bore you guys with that again. That was a little too much last time. Just painting for with no results. And then, of course, at the end, I wound up having to paint it black again anyway. So I'll put all these back in the kit. So if you're wondering where I got this from, I bought this on AliExpress, actually. So it came from somewhere in China. Yeah, pretty cheap. It's not bad, but yeah, it works pretty good. It's surprisingly enough, it works really well. Okay, so all that to show you guys how these things actually go together. So I'm going to take this guy. They don't show this in the instructions. The instructions are actually incorrect. This has to go like this in the back here, and we get our flame holder. The flame holder goes in like this. Okay, it drops in. It only goes in so far, and it goes like that. okay? And then our fan goes on there and kind of sits on the tip of the fan like that. And that's how this goes in there, okay? So, I'll leave the flame holder in here like this. And I'll put a little bit of glue in there. Let me change the camera back. Put a little bit of glue around the edge of the flame holder where he's sitting. Okay, let that sit for a sec. I'll do that on this guy too. Grab the other one. Drop him down in. Kind of line him up. Hold him in like that. I want to get to the tail fins today, guys. So I'm not really going to complete the assembly of the engines today, but we're getting somewhere anyway. Now our fan goes on the end, so I'll just use my fin. So the fan goes in here like this, goes on the end, and just sits on the edge. Basically acts like a cap. And yeah, it would be nice if they showed this in the instructions like this, but as you guys saw from last time, the instructions show you putting the fan and the flame holder together, and of course this is wrong. That's wrong. Don't do this, okay? Because if you do this, you'll never get them back in here. You can't put the fan through this way. The fan has to be from the back, okay? So there's that. And that's what it looks like when it's all together. Okay. Looks good. So, put him on there. And some glue all around. Airplanes taking off in the background. Okay, we'll let that sit. So that's how this one looks. There we go. Okay, looks good. Now something that's really cool about this kit and what they've done is, so this goes like this. You're going to put your fins onto this little funky looking cup thing, like this. Okay, your fins are going to go onto that. And then what's going to happen is this cup is going to press fit over top. Now I'm not going to press it on right now, but it's going to press over top of this part here. And what's going to happen is you're going to be able to pivot this afterwards, and you're going to be able to do the whole thrust vectoring thing when it's done. Okay, basically this goes on here, this goes like this, and then we finally have our final piece. This guy goes over top all of them and goes all the way back to there. Okay, goes all the way back to here, and there's a little tab, a tiny little tab right there, goes into this little notch. You'll feel it when you get to the when you get to the right spot. It finally goes click like that, and it notches in there, and now it doesn't really move, right? And so that's where that fits. You could technically glue this on first, because you can press this on after if that's what you want to do. It's really up to you, right? But when watching Matt McDougall's assembly, he says this is such a tight fit, it really is not going to move very much. So what I'm going to do, as you can tell, I've primered this. I'm thinking of maybe sanding this down to get rid of that extra thick layer of paint so that it's more like the natural plastic color. Sand this down and then maybe put a little bit of oil, maybe some, I've got different types of oil I could use to help press that on there and keep it moving fluidly. But that's a test I'm going to have to do later, because today I want to move on from these and I want to start on our tail fins, because I want to basically say this is done. Remember we did these last time? This is the leading edge of the wings. I've glued one on, and so I want to glue the other one on today. Okay, so this is what they look like when we're all done. We got our two pieces. It looked like this, and I primed it, right, because this goes along that edge. So I've got my plane here. I've glued this one on, okay, and I've decided to glue it kind of in a down position. You can see here that it's not straight. It's kind of lowered. I've got it lowered on the tip a little bit, okay. So basically, what you do, it's got a little peg on the end here, which is really hard to see in the camera, but there is a little tiny peg right at the end. That goes in the tip first, okay? And then it's got another peg on the wider end, and that goes into this little notch. There's a little notch right here. There's a little notch right there. That's where that peg goes into. There's actually a little notch right here also. Okay, and that's where we're going to line them up. So we kind of just slide that over there, kind of get it lined up a little bit. And get them, and there we go, it just kind of fell into place. And so you do have a little bit of play. So you have adjustments. You can have it just straight, or you can have it bent down like I have my other one. And so that's what I'm going to do. Same thing on this one. Basically have my tab right at the bottom of this notch, and then leave it like that. Okay. So what I did is I used my other thin glue. I didn't want it the quick set because I want it to hold pretty strong. So kind of doing the same thing. I just basically made it so that this is flush, and that's how low I want it. And it just kind of sits like that, so make sure it's tight, but low down. And then we'll go along here. Now this stuff doesn't set up quite as fast as a quick set, but with a quick type, but that's okay. Because it takes that extra time, it actually makes a stronger bond, at least in my opinion. I could be wrong, maybe the bond is just as strong, but I don't feel like it is. I feel like because this takes the extra time to create that bond, it melts the plastic just a little bit more and makes it stronger. Okay, so there we go. So there we've got our two leading edges in now. Okay, so I wanted to get that done today. So I'll put this aside and we'll flip our page over and see what we've got next. Step 10, we're going to call step 10 finished, okay? Although it's not really. So we're going to go to step 11, and yay, step 11 is vertical stabilizers, or tail fins, or whatever you want to call them. I've got my two already, my two main pieces anyway, already off the sprues and primered. So I got to grab, let's see, we've got extra parts to put on here. Off our bee tree, I'm going to have to move that out of my way. Where's my bee tree? I seem to have extra tail fins. Oh no, I don't. My bee trees are here. I'm also going to need some parts off the eye tree. So let's find my eye. Eye. Okay. Eye. We'll put my eyes there. Okay, so we've got inner pieces. Obviously this is going to go like that. Now another thing that Matt McDougall was having issues with was the fitment of the tail fins into the fuselage. He didn't like how they were lining up, and his problem was the tabs. As the tabs go into the fuselage, they were too thick and they were making them not align properly. So I guess that's something I'm going to have to watch out for, and we will deal with that. So I want to make sure my nubs are nice and clean. So that I have nice consistent panel lines to deal with. Don't really care so much about the nub on the bottom of the tab, especially if this tab is something I need to actually get rid of. I'll actually do a little test fit here and see if I run into the same issues as Matt did. Okay. What I am running into an issue here is this doesn't want to go in. It doesn't quite, it's so tight a fit here that it's not going in. See, you can see that little space there. It doesn't want to. There we go. Okay. So there's that. So I'm going to take a look and see how this tab is going to actually fit on the fuselage. I'm not sure. This one's going to be. These wings are lefts and rights. So the side that you just put that piece in, that's towards the inside. Okay. And so this is the outside. This means this would be the right fin. Okay, right side. So let's just grab this. So with this going like that, that's going to go on here. Now he said he was having troubles and that it didn't line up. So let's just see. It's a tight fit. He didn't like the alignment here. He hated this alignment along here, how it was lining up along this edge. And you know, yeah, I have to agree with him. It is kind of it's putting an edge on here that really shouldn't be there. It's forcing the wing, it's forcing it out like this direction. So it's creating a lip. It's creating a lip right along this edge. And I have to say, I don't like that either. Because that should be flush. I should at least have the ability to set it so it's flush. And of course, why is it doing that? It's because this tab is forcing the wing out. So what he did is he just cut the tab off completely. I don't know if I want to do that. I could. It's not really an issue. Our little pegs are so tight that this is, there we go. So I could just eliminate this tab completely because we already have this tab that's going to go in there, right? If I just do this and just put this in like that, it's still slotting in, except now I have a little bit of play, and I can align that and get that lined up nice and level. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get rid of that tab. I'm going to do the same thing he did. I'm going to do the same thing he did, and I'll just get rid of this tab like this. I believe he took a knife and hacked it off. I'll just use my nippers. Does the same thing. There we go. Okay, and just smoothing it off. There we go. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be, does it? It's not going to be seen. But I do want it flush. Don't go too far. There we go. Okay, so that's done. So let's glue these two together. Okay, let's glue these two together and make them happy. Let's see, I'm going to use this glue so that I can go ding, dang, dong in all these little spots. Well, hello, how are you? Let's get those in there. This guy squeezed in there. Just like that. Okay, so we've got that in there. Or do we? There we go. I'll put a little bit of extra thin in here. Get that glued in up the top here. And one thing I don't like is when they do this kind of stuff with these, they tend to, it makes it really difficult to get the panel lines when you're doing your detail later to have the panel line look proper, because you know you have a certain depth of your panel line on this side, but then here you actually have a huge depth. So I like to put putty through in there, and it makes the panel line a little more shallow, right? I'm just holding this edge here because these are two pieces that need to be put together. And that's going to be significant later on when it comes to actually putting on the what do they call these, stabilizers. When these go on like this, there's a piece that sticks up here that actually goes into the inside of this. We're dealing with that down here at the bottom of the page. Okay, so that's that one. Then we have this guy here, B7. I believe these are left and right specific also. Let's see here. This guy goes in here like this. I gotta clean up that nub. Another little bit of detail. We got another little pin sticking off the end here that is probably gonna break off on me. There's a lot of these little pins that stick off the edges of the wings on this plane that, well, I've already lost one of them on our main wings. So there's that. I managed to still have them on our rear wings. They're still here on this one. You can see those three little pins sticking off. Okay, so this goes in here like this. I do like the fact that they have this as a separate piece, so that if I wanted to actually have it just a little off like that, it shows that's a separate piece. I like that, right? I like having that option instead of having to just have it completely, perfectly 100% straight. Okay, so I am going to put it just a little bit towards the inside like this. Just a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of glue along our leading edge. And glue him in there. But I don't want him perfect. I want him kind of lined up straight along this particular edge. just like that. So it's just a hair off. Not too much, just a little bit. He is perfectly straight and lined up along there. That's important. So there we go. So that's that. So we still have a few little bits to put on this guy off of our eye tree. I3, I6, and I8. So let's grab our eyes. 3, 6, and 8. So we should have 2 of each. There's 3, there's 6, and there's 8. This guy here. Oh yeah, so number 7 goes on the other one. Okay. So number 3, these are tiny little guys. There's 3. Six. Gonna come off there. There we go. 6. And then this is 8. There we go. Okay. So 3, this is nothing. This is nothing. So number 3 goes up right on the tip there. And it goes just right onto this tip here. I see that being an issue later on. Probably when I'm painting and masking, number 3 is going to fall off. Get him lined up as best as I can. There we go. Okay, number 3 is on. Now, number 6. Number 6, they show going on right here. But it almost looks like, see, they show it installed here, but it kind of already looks like it's there. I could be wrong. But it's supposed to go right on the tip here. Like that. Just like that. It'd be like a little nipple sticking off the end. And then I8, this guy here, I need to clean him up a little bit. So I didn't get him off the sprue all that cleanly. And he goes on the opposite end. He goes down here, like this. On this edge. Like this. Like that. It's kind of interesting. It's almost like the tail fin has an intake. Just like that. Just make sure that's straight. There we go. And there's one tail fin done. Okay, so I'll put this aside and let that dry, and we'll work on our other side. We also have photo etch pieces that are going to go on there. I'll deal with those a little bit later. For now, we've got to clean up some stuff. I'm already anticipating that I'm going to have to cut the tab off of the other piece, just like I did on that one. So there's that. I'll get this guy off of here. Take a drink of coffee. Okay, this guy, I gotta clean up the top here and get that nice and smooth. And this time I'm gonna use my knife on this tab. I'm just gonna cut like this. I don't know if this is a better way to do it or not, but this works also. And so that's pretty much done. Just like that. So I'll just make sure I've got no funky edge sticking down there. There we go. So that tab's gone. So let's put our two pieces together. Goes together nicely. Good. Let's put some glue on it this time. All right, just like in the other one, do this. Another thing I didn't do on the other one is I didn't go any glue on this line, but that's okay. Again, doing the same thing there. I'm going to make sure that I got a nice, good, solid line there. I don't want a gap there. Okay, this guy can go in here, and he's going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing. Have them turned in just a little bit. So that basically my wings, these flaps are basically pointing like a little bit, just a little bit like this, a little bit towards each other. So once again, glue on this leading edge. Just like that. Okay. There we go. Now with that done, we'll do to our, find our little bits. Looks like we got an extra bit here that goes on this wing, or this fin. we have E6 that goes onto this center one. E6. Let's find our E. Where's my E tree? I don't think I've dealt with E's yet. Those are my double D's. And that is G. That one is C. I don't have an E tree. Is E is the clear one, isn't it? Yeah, it is. E is the clear sprue. E6. Tiny, tiny little clear piece. Just go right here. Just a tiny, tiny little piece. It's really easy to lose. This goes right on the tip of this one. I can't even tell the particular direction it's supposed to go on because it's so small. It's so small and insignificant, I'm not even going to bother. I'm not even going to bother. It's such a tiny little insignificant piece. So let's go back to our I tree. We need I3 on this one also. Okay, we need the I6, this guy, and I7. It's a little bit differently shaped than the other side. It actually is a little bit bigger of a piece. And the hole on it is, it's only going to go on one way. Like that. This one's just a little bit different. It's a little bit bigger than on the other side. So just make sure it's straight. There we go. Okay, that's on there. I3 again goes on the top of this little nub right there. Which of course is a little difficult to there we go. Okay. And finally our little one that goes on that. Tiny little drop of glue. Get this guy. That. Into his new home, and I just moved him over. He's not supposed to be in that position. You know, when you've got such a small piece and it's got one little flat spot on it. I think I got it. It's definitely a little bit more of a pain than the other one was. But I think I got it. Okay, so our little bits are on them now, and that's going to be it. And of course we've got PE parts that they want to put on these little details, but these kind of go on, they get done kind of later, right? It's the reflective, those little rectangles that you see on all the planes for their markings. Let's just clean up my little area here. Okay, so we have our tail fins, our elevators or stabilizers, okay? And we've got to put a couple of pieces on these. Now that reminds me that there is a correction sheet in this that we have. So if I look at this and compare our correction sheet on step 11, our B2 C89, we should be using C11 instead of C12. It looks like they got their 11 and their 12 mixed up on here. That's what it looks like. So let's grab our C tree and get those pieces. C tree, of course, is another great big one that has all the parts on it. So we want C89 and 90, which are these two. And we want 11 and 12. It's these two. They look like the same part, just flipped over, mirror images of each other. Which tells me there's really not that much of a difference to actually put a correction in the book when they really needed a correction in the book on their engines, the engine nozzles. That would have been a better correction to put. So we take one of our wings, let's see, this one here. It looks like this is the upside with our little panel there. We've got to put one of these on. So these go in this direction, but like this. That cannot be right, because I got the wrong wing. Like this, and then like this. Is that correct? I think it has to be. So it's like that. They don't really show a lot of detail on this in the pictures, but if this is the upside, this is how this goes. Otherwise, it's going to go like this. I don't think... See, this might make more sense where this is like that, showing you the detail there, like that. Which would mean we're looking at this here, like this. And then we have this. Going on to that. Kind of goes over that like this. It doesn't want to fit right. Yeah, these are specific. They only go one way. They only go one way. And that's how that would fit. Let's just do a little test on this one. Would this fit the same? If this is on here, no, it won't fit. But what if I did this? I don't think this is correct. This can't be correct. We don't line up there, so that I'm doing it all wrong. This is going to go like that. So you're going to have all the side with all the panel markings. They're all going to be the same. Okay. That basically sorted itself out, because it only goes one way. Now, I put glue on this, but I didn't clean up my nubs. Let's just do this first. Glue on there. Make sure this line is nice and straight. There we go. Okay. My phone is telling me that my laundry's done. So again, let's just, there's a nub here we want to clean up. Sometimes it won't fit because your nubs are not cleaned up. So if that's the case, stop being lazy and clean up your nubs. Okay, so before we go any further, I'll clean this one up too. I'll get these done, and then we're going to call it a day. Okay, guys? Yeah. All right. So, which one was it now? Is it this one? So this one doesn't, it does fit. One of them didn't fit. Yeah, see, this one doesn't even fit on here. This one does. Okay, so go on there. Just like that. There we go. Now you can see what I was talking about with this guy. When the wing goes on here, it's going to sit kind of like this, and this piece is actually going to go in. It's going to go inside this, like that, kind of like that. Okay. So you want to make sure you have this kind of lined up as best as you can. Okay, so we'll do this one. So I'm just going to put him on there. This. That. It's a tight enough fit that it kind of holds by itself while you put the glue on, and that's nice. There we go. And then this piece. Yeah, see, they put a little notch on this one. They got a little notch here. And that helps you with your lefts and your rights. Just make sure it's tight and straight, and voila, there we go. Okay, there's our stabilizers. I'll get that as straight as I can, just like that, and done. Okay, and that's that. So that is where I'm going to end it for today, guys. Yeah, at least I got some done. I got the my engines are getting, well, they're getting somewhere anyway. And I got my tail fins done, and I got my stabilizers done, and so yeah, that's basically it. We got to move on to the next step, which is more control surfaces and dealing with some, looks like, our localizing assists in assembly of the formation lights. So we get to do that next time. Okay, so with that being done, I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for the new subscribers and the comments. Thank you so much. Let you guys know again, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing the collaboration with my fiance, building the Porsches. I know you guys are eager to see that, but I gotta hit 1,000 subscribers first, just like I promised. So yeah, so we're gonna wait for that. So hit that subscribe button, and also hit the like button. Leave me comments down below if you feel like to. And yeah, we'll leave it for now, and that's gonna be it for now, guys, and we'll see you all in the next one.